In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 most productive crops you could grow in a container. I'm going to show you that you don't need a garden or an allotment to grow amazing vegetables. Even if you have a balcony or a small stony garden with no growing space at all, you're going to grow amazing crops with these tips. You might think we're going to talk about things like basil and cress. I'm actually going to talk about really big vegetables and fruits. To give you a flavour, we're talking tomatoes, we're talking really big things like melons. If you haven't done so already, I'd love to have you along for my growing journey. Why not hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell to get my videos when they drop. Thank you very much. Let's start small. The first crop that I want to mention today are salads. Salads are really expensive in the supermarket, so if you can grow them at home, you can get amazing organic fresh salads from your garden. And you only need a very small pot to do this. You can sow some baby lettuces in a 15 to 30 centimetre pot. You can grow a collection of different salads in a slightly wider square pot or one of those trough pots that you can get, and you can grow lots of different types of lettuce leaves or different Asian greens as well. Look online, there's loads of different seeds that you can find. I highly recommend Real Seeds catalogue for their interesting different varieties. She Grows Veg is another place you can look for really interesting and vibrant salads to grow. The second crop that I recommend for any small space or terrace or balcony is a micro tomato. These are much smaller than their bigger cousins. They're really small actually. They only get to about this big, and they'll produce a good 2 or 3 handfuls of tomatoes per plant. Feed them really well and they might actually produce you even more. I grew micro tomatoes last year and I got some beautiful tomatoes off of them. I planted 2 into a pot and I got quite a good little production out of those. Remember that anything you grow in a pot is always going to be so much better if you can get your soil right. And that means sourcing really healthy, good compost, making your own compost if you can. Stay tuned as we'll be talking about the larger, exciting crops that you can grow in containers. The third crop that grows really well in containers is bigger tomatoes. Use a 30 centimetre pot and you can grow some pretty large tomatoes. I've grown ananas noir tomatoes in a pot that's 30 centimetres big, so it's about this big and this wide, and I've grown really big tomatoes. You won't get lots of them necessarily, but you will get really big ones. Comment down below with your favourite vegetables and fruits to grow in containers. This is my most exciting crop to grow in a pot, and that is melons. Melons grow quite well in a pot. If you can get a slightly larger pot, like a 60 centimetre pot, then you can grow some really nice tasty melons. I have grown cantaloupe melons, which are the slightly webbed sort of grey looking melons, in the polytunnel, and you could definitely grow them in your little space outside, whether you've got a stony garden or you've got a lovely balcony to grow them on. They'll do even better if you can put them up against some walls and they're a bit sheltered in the south facing windows or in the south facing gardens. They'll do really, really well. If you're liking this video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button down below. It'll help to send this video out to more people so I can inspire and encourage others. Thank you. The fifth crop that I recommend you try this year in your containers are strawberries. Strawberries can grow really well. Their roots are quite shallow, so they can go into those 30 centimetre troughs, or they can grow into a smaller pot that's a little bit more shallow, and you can hang these from your balcony, from your terrace, and you'll get loads of strawberries if you feed them well. You want to give them lots of potassium and lots of phosphorus, and you can find this in seaweed feeds, the same feeds that you might use for your tomato plants, or if you get some really good homemade compost on the go, you can add that to your pots and get loads of delicious strawberries. I have grown strawberries to great success here in pots, and I'm going to do it again this year. I'm really excited to pop them around the allotment and really maximise the space. Those are my 5 top crops to grow in a container. I really recommend that you try them this year. If you're new to gardening, or you're looking at your space, that you've got the tiny amount of space outside and you're thinking, what could I do that's really productive? These tips are going to help you, and these crops can be explored. You only need a 30 centimetre pot for some of them. You might have to go a bit bigger for others, but work with your space. You could definitely grow some amazing tomatoes, you could grow some beautiful salad greens, and you can absolutely grow a melon or 2 if you've got a little bit more size in your pots. If you'd like to check out any more of my videos, you can find them over here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!